Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is video number 10, and in video 9 we discussed we actually went over creating table together, and we did the assignment question 1 to 5, and we were right on number 5. There it is. We learned how to insert values into a table, and this is where we stopped right here. And I want to go over a none value and empty string, which I showed you in the last video, how when you have an empty space like you do here in the work phone and the social security, although it is stated when we created the table, the requirement was that it could be left as null, and so that means that it doesn't need to have a value. So when we got a rejection, when we run this without anything, like we left it blank like this and we run it, and we got an error message. So what we did was we used a single quotation, sorry about that, single quotation like this, and we run it and went through and gave us a blank space. But what I wanted to tell you was, since we covered the null value, we can just put in null, and we'll get a value. So the difference between these two is the single quotation or the empty string. It means that the value is set to be empty. So we are setting it by putting the empty string here in this spot instead of null. Wrong one. Okay. So when we're doing that, we're just telling, this value is empty. But a null doesn't necessarily means it's empty or it's not. So it can have a value, or it may not have a value. That's what we're trying to tell. So this is the difference between those two, the null and the empty string. The difference is that. So in this case, we're just going to run it with just null, make it simple. We'll just put in null for this one as well, just to just go over it. This is the space that we want, this empty space, so we're just replacing that with null. And we run it, and it should be able to go. And then when you get your, let me show you if it goes through. I'll show you what it would look like. I have to highlight the whole thing. Okay. And okay. And if I do a select statement real quick, and everything from employee, and I will show you what it would look like when you have the null. And there, see, it's giving us all the null values. So this is it, and the first two that we run was the value. See how it was left empty? This is what we run, was just the empty string using the single quotation. So this is a difference, and in this one is, we're declaring it as null. So that's what you see here. Okay, now we cover that, and we move on to the next question, which is minimize this, pull it down. Okay, and let's go to question number 6. Okay, so retrieve all records from customer table. Okay, so to do that, we have to get select all from customer. That's what it's asking us to wants us to just call all the records, or retrieve all the records from the customer table. So to do that, we'll just highlight and execute. But there's nothing in there because we don't have anything in the value. Okay, guys, so number 5, actually we're on number 6, and this is what it's telling us: to retrieve all the records from the customer table. And this is a simple statement that we write to get all the records. So if you remember earlier when we in video number 9, when we did the question 1 to 5, we created a customer table. So for me, I only selected and ran 3 columns. I'm sorry, 3 rows of data, and so I inserted only 3 records, and so I'm gonna be seeing 3. But if you did all the 6, if you did all the values, if you inserted all the values, you would have 6 instead of 3. So let's see, let's execute it. Yes, I do have 3 records. In your case, if you did the assignment right, then you should have 6 records in there. Okay, so now the next question is asking us to retrieve customer ID, last name, first name, address, and the zip code from all the customers. So instead of writing all, it's only asking us to name these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Actually, we do have only 5, so except the state. So we have to write a statement. Then what we'll do is see how you wrote this the select all statement. That's we're gonna have to write select from customers, customer. Okay, so now we're gonna call customer ID. There it is. Okay, comma, and it's asking us to get last name. So we're gonna do last name. There it is. And comma, and then it's asking for first name. So first name, where are you? There it is. And address. Okay. And what else is asking for? Zip code. And zip code. There it is. So this is all you need to do to write, to retrieve a record of all these columns from the table customer. This is what it's asking us, and this is what our query would look like. And if I execute, I'll get just the 5 columns we want. As you can see here, hopefully you can see it, and this is what you see. Okay, so we go to question number 8. So question number 8 is a little different, and we will have to write the where statement. We covered the where statement briefly in the video 1 to 5. If you watch 1 to 5, then you should be able to see. It's very simple, and I'll show you how you can write a where statement. So here is asking us just to retrieve last and first name for customer ID 611. So we're gonna do select from customer. Okay, and then we're gonna need, so it's asking us to get the last name. All right, last name, where are you? There it is. And comma, and then first name. All right, so here we're gonna have to write where statement, because we want the customer ID that has, we need the customer first and last name of a customer with the ID number 611. So to get that result, we have to write a where statement. So we're gonna say where customer ID right here. So he's asking us a customer ID equals 11. So 611 equals. Now when we're getting we need a value, then make sure you need to put the single quotations and run it. Okay, so since I didn't have any customer with, Okay, so since I didn't input all of the records that I provided you with, and you should be able to get a customer with 611. Your results will be a lot different than so I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, because when I put in my records here, I'll show you the 611. Okay, see, I did not write the insert statement for the 611. So I have 311, so I'll show you what I meant. Okay, so now I'm going to change my where statement to 311 and see what I get. Okay. There you go. So I have one customer. First name and last name is Mark Dice, and I have the statement. So it has, see, with the ID number of 311 is only one customer. So if I say, let's say if I say 211, I'm gonna get a different customer name, because that's the only records that I put in. There you go. I have a Babashatu for ID number 211. And if I go on, because I only have 3 records, I can just show you what it's like. So there it is. And there you go, Dawit Mullah, I get another record pulled. So this is what a where statement would look like, and this is how you would write the query to call when it's, the ID is specified or a certain value you need, a matching value. So where should be the statement you should look at. Okay, and we're doing okay, so retrieve the address for customer Stan. So this is, let's see if I have a customer Stan. No, I did not. Yes, I do have Stan Miller. I do have insert into Stan. Yep, I do have customer Stan. So let's write a statement. So select from, so Stan is his first name. So I'm just gonna select first name from customer. Okay. First name. Okay, let's do this the right way. First. There you go. Okay. Where first name equals, and we want Stan. So let's run this. I don't have a Stan. That's ironic. Let's see who I have. I think I have a Bebe. Okay, let's try that. These are not random names that I'm putting in, so you know, because I'm just going by what records I have in my table. So no, it's not getting, I'm not getting any Abebas in my customer table. Let's see what data we put in a customer table. And we can easily call out customer table. Here I have Dawit. Oh, that's the last name. Okay, that's catchy. So we have the first name Mullah here, or the first name Dice, and let's see what we come up with. So first name, whoops, where did we go? Here. Yep. And first name, last name. As last name. Let's try last name, and here last name, we're calling the last name. Okay, and actually it doesn't have to be just the last name, we can just call everything from customer and where the last name is Bebe. Actually, let's do Dice. Hopefully we have somebody's last name. We have somebody that has a last name of Dice. Okay, we don't, so let's try Okay, so doesn't look like we have that. That might be just the first name. So let's see. Hopefully we'll populate something now. There it is. Mark is the last name. First name is Dice. So here, this is what it would be like. So since we just have to watch out because this question is asking us retrieve the address for customer stand. So what we need to call here is we need to select the address because we just have to pay attention to the question. What we're being asked to populate. So if it's a customer just asking for a record, a copy of the records, just the address of this customer, and this is what we need to write. The statement would be select address from customer where last name equals Mark. So here yours will be Stan, and since I didn't put this information in my table, then I'm just showing you what it would look like with what I have in my record. So last name equals Mark. Let's run this here. So it's giving us the address. So if you want to see the name and the address, then all you have to do is go back here and add the last name and first name, just so that last name, first name, address from. Okay, so now let's run this, and now we have the first name and last name and the address. So it looks better that way instead of just having the address. But what's the question asking us is just the address is what we're looking for. So in this case, to answer the question, we just select the address from customer where the last name is, for your case, will be Stan. Mine is Mark since I don't have Stan insert input in my table. So let's do the last question. The last question is asking us retrieve Iowa customers first name and last name. Okay, so we're again is going to be where statement as well. So we're gonna do select statement, select. We want the customer's first name and last name. So we're gonna do from customers, and then we go back in here and we'll just type in last name, misspelled customer, that's why it didn't populate. So the easy thing I wanted to show you is that when you're writing a select statement and you don't want to type the whole thing, like I don't want to anyone, if you can just avoid that, you could. So just write select from the table name and then go back in here and call the things that it needs you to include. So first name in this case. So if you write the shell and then go back in there, and I'll show you. Now I'm gonna type first. The first letter it came up. So see, it's in the list. The little box pops up, and the first name is right there. So just click on it and tap. That's it. Instead of typing the whole thing. So and then last name next is L, and last name is right here. Just point at it and click on it and then tap. That's it. So now we're at wanting Iowa customers. So the state, we're calling for the state equals, so where the state equals single quotation Iowa, and let's run it. Let's see. There it is. Mark Dice is from Iowa, so it's only one. In your case, it might be 2 or 3. If you did the assignment right, then you would have all the records in there. You will have more customers. But for me, since I just put only 3 records in my table, this is what I get. All right, guys, is it for today. And all right, so this is it for today, and we'll do the next video. We're gonna go ahead and do 5 more, and then I'll see you next in the next video. And thank you, and subscribe so that you can get new videos as I upload them. And thank you.